Maybe they're not entitled. Maybe they're just asking for what they actually deserve to have. But either way, a lot of older people just don't want to hire younger people because they don't feel like younger people are reliable. Um, Two, over half of recent college graduates are underemployed. So, in addition to unemployment, there's what they call underemployment. Underemployment is where you're working but you're not doing the job you want to do, or you're not making the money you should make. You're working part-time when you should be working full-time in an industry you don't want to actually be in. So you technically have a job, but it's not the job you want. So they found that 52% of recent four-year college graduates are underemployed. This is inside higher education, meaning they are working in jobs that do not require a college degree. Even a decade later, 45% remain underemployed. Okay, so these numbers are pretty high. And this includes not just people with bachelor's degrees. I know a lot of PhDs that are underemployed. There are lots of studies. If you go to YouTube and you Google search something like PhDs on welfare, you'll find examples of PhDs that are what they call adjunct professors in obscure fields, maybe like philosophy or English, who literally are making such little money that they have to get food stamps or they're welfare recipients. So this is a real thing. This is a real phenomenon. There's a TED Talk, a really famous TED Talk that a black woman did, where she said that she graduated from Harvard and she was on. I think she said she was on welfare and she had an MBA from Harvard, which was strange. She's not. So not only was she a Harvard graduate, but she studied business. I didn't get that, and I watched her TED Talk, and it was really interesting. And what it spoke to is that, in my view, and I'm talking specifically about black people because that's what I think about the most. You have to be really creative about how you engage this economy when you're black. I think that sometimes what happens, especially when you go to Harvard and you get these opportunities, is that you forget that you're black. Like you think you're white. And so my first message to people like that would be like, well, you're not white. So you're not going to get the same opportunities as the white guy. They're not going to open the same doors for you that they would for him. You're not going to get the same pay raises, the same whatever. You don't have the same network. And it doesn't mean that being black it doesn't mean that being black means you shouldn't aim for the stars and go for what you deserve or that you don't deserve more. It just means that you're not white. And being white matters. White privilege does exist in white spaces. White privilege exists in white spaces. And white privilege exists in white spaces. I just repeated myself because I need you to understand what I'm about to say next. White privilege exists in white spaces, but black privilege exists in black spaces. Do you agree with that? That if I'm in a black space, I have a privilege that I would not have if I was white. Do we agree? If we agree that white privilege exists in white spaces, do we agree that black privilege can exist in black spaces if you work it right? So the question to me is not, here's the thing. I need y'all to pay attention now. I have a brother that I respect named Dr. Randall Pinkett. Love Randall, great guy, and he wrote a book with a guy named Jeffrey Robinson who is kicking ass. I think this brother is the chancellor of Rutgers or something. They came on my podcast. And I love these. I have so much respect for these guys. And they wrote a book. They wrote one book, I think it was called like White Black Faces in High Places, and another book that was like maybe Black Faces in White Places. And I said, I get it. I understand it. And I love you guys. I love what you wrote. And I respect you immensely. And we love each other. Like this is not a criticism at all. But I said, why don't we talk more about what we really need, which is I don't think we need more black faces in high places or black faces in white places. I think we need more black spaces and maybe more black faces in black spaces. Maybe it's the creation of more black spaces that's the answer to this whole thing. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I didn't sound like I'm hating on these guys, did I? Because I don't want to. I got enough enemies, and I'm not trying to make enemies. I just because I like these. I like Randall and I like Jeffrey. Smart guys.